enough space for that?
Yeah.
Old school.
Yep.
Ready? Hello.
Tell me when it's 12.
It's 11:59. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check.
Well, I was already dressed up. I actually had to peek before me.
Everybody good on mic?
Can you give us 1 more in 2 seconds? Let me know. Celeste, she's ready. Ready? She's ready.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check.
All right, 12 o'clock.
Yep.
This morning, I think we saw just the world that we live in today, with people making false calls, wanting to disturb school, wanting to scare people, and that's what we had. Probably about 10:25 today, we received a call from an individual, identified himself at Blythewood High School. The call actually showed us coming from Blythewood High School, and that someone had been shot, and gave us a particular room where the shooting was happening. So that was the bad. The continued bad was the emotions that we saw in students and parents now who are suffering because somebody made a false call. The good part was the response of the students and the staff at Blythewood High School. They did a great job. They locked down the school. They evacuated as they've been trained to do. Everybody responded at that school the way they should be. Our response with law enforcement was outstanding. Probably had 150 police officers respond. We had 2 school resource officers that was on the scene in the school. They took immediate action. Deputies responded very quickly, and in a very short time we were in control of the school, searching the school, making sure that there was not anybody with a gun there. So that was the good part. It was an exercise, it was a practice, and we saw how we would respond if we ever did have an active shooter in one of our schools. That's one thing that all our school districts, particularly School District 2, has prided herself on, is working with us, going through these drills, also getting training, active shooter training for their staff. Today it paid off, and where no one was hurt, because we saw how everybody responded. And so I applaud the students at Blythewood High School. I applaud the staff, the teachers, everybody there just did exactly what they have been trained to do. Unfortunately, what we saw at Blythewood High School is not the only school this is happening at today. We know other schools within South Carolina, the exact same thing has happened. It's I guess no better word to say than a TikTok challenge just went out, and people are doing it. So we are put some plans in place now to our response. If we get any other additional calls like this, then we're going to measure our response, but we're going to have a response that meets the needs of what's going on at that time. So unfortunately, we do have some students that are upset. We've got parents that are upset. Even though it was fake, the emotions are real. The fear that they felt is real. And the school superintendent will address that in a minute. But I know that there's some counseling that these students and the parents are going to need. It was like it was the real deal. And that's what they felt. And that's how our response was, that it was a real active shooter in one of our schools. So again, completely a hoax, nobody injured, no shots fired, nothing happened except the response from everybody was a great response. So Baron Davis, the school superintendent for District 2, will address you now.
Thank you, Sheriff. As I had an opportunity to speak to the sheriff during the event, I expressed that I had a number of emotions that I was experiencing simultaneously. I think it's no secret that individuals know that This is something that I worry about all the time as superintendent. I've shared that multiple times as we try to provide our students with premier educational experiences every single day. That there are individuals who want to stand in the way of students receiving and teachers teaching and employees supporting the learning process of our students. My emotions were all over the place today. I had a sense of thankfulness. First and foremost, I was thankful to God that nobody was injured and that it was a hoax. And so that was my first feeling of thankfulness. I was thankful to the students, to the employees, the teachers, and all the support staff that was there to ensure that the students followed the protocols that we put in place and that we have been practicing. I believe that the school had actually practiced a exercise just last week. And so I'm thankful that we take this seriously and that we're diligent about making sure that we have the appropriate response and that everyone followed the responses and acted accordingly when something like this would happen, not knowing that it was a prank. I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful to the sheriff and his team. I saw the response firsthand. So I didn't receive it from anyone and secondary information. I was there and watched the response from our Richland County Sheriff's Department as officers and deputies from Richland County as well as the City of Columbia and other law enforcement agencies showed up and immediately took action and went into their protocols to ensure that our students were safe, with the understanding of believing that there may be an actual threat taking place. So I'm so grateful that we have that partnership and that understanding, and that we can work collaboratively to ensure that our students are receiving their education in a safe and secure environment. And lastly, I'm heartbroken. I'm not only the superintendent of the school, I'm a parent in a school district and a spouse who works at Blythewood High School. And I'm heartbroken that people continue to take this as a joke and continue to put our students and our employees in harm's way for whatever reasons or agendas that they may have in life, that we don't seem to value the importance of educating our students in a safe and secure environment where they are free of unnecessary issues that can cause anxiety, that focus and takes the focus off of their learning and their growth and development. That this is a society that we are living in, and to see this happen simultaneously across our state and probably other parts of the country because of a TikTok challenge, we have to take some action. We have to take some action. We have to stop talking about this. We need some sort of laws or legislation or something in place that will prevent, or there are some consequences behind actions like this that create this type of feelings of emotions. My students aren't going to be able to go back to school today. So their day of instruction is lost and ruined. And so I want them to know that we will have things in place for them when they return, our parents to know that we will have counseling available for our students, because I saw, as the sheriff expressed earlier, the emotions that many of our students were feeling as they were exiting the building, not knowing if this was a prank or not. The emotions of our staff as they were exiting the building, not knowing if this was a prank or not. But they came to school today, and it's supposed to be a place where joy is supposed to reside. They came to school today with the intentions of bettering themselves academically and socially and emotionally. And then we have to deal with something like this today. Something outside of our control, but something we have all come to accept as okay to have TikTok challenges and other social media activity, and not hold folk accountable for allowing things like that to resonate and reside in these spaces. So I asked our community to come together, band together. Let's work on figuring out how do we prevent things like this. We'll continue to send out information throughout the day from our communications department about the next steps, as our school administrators are going to be working with our faculty and staff at the location. And I ask you all to continue to just wrap your arms around Richland School District 2 and continue to say prayers for all of us as we work and do our very best to ensure that our students have every opportunity to learn and grow and achieve their God-given gifts and talents, and realize those God-given gifts and talents while they are students in our school district. So I appreciate you all and thank you all for listening. Mr. Manning.
Thank you. It's unfortunate. As the chair of this board, about a year ago, I was called out for a shooter that was on one of our buses. Now I'm being called out because we have a active potential threat to our students and our community. I do want to thank Sheriff Lott for the swift response. We've seen less than adequate responses in other communities, but our sheriff and Dr. Davis, our school district, has taken the time to properly train our folks for how to handle these situations. When I grew up, the issues we had were fire drills. Now our students have to go through active shooter drills, and they fear coming to school every day. This board takes this very seriously. We will be working with our legislators. I think we have to increase the penalties for these fake calls. There have to be consequences for the chaos that's created when somebody does something like this, to falsely put the lives and the health of folks at risk. We saw at the Columbia Mall shooting, folks were injured, not necessarily even from the shooting, but just the response to the shooting. And we have not just the folks at Blythewood, but we're going to have students across the school district that fear and have anxiety about going to school. I do want to emphasize the fact that's been said already. This is not a Richland 2 issue. I don't want somebody to feel like we have failed as a Richland 2 school district, our administration, or our sheriff's department to properly plan, to handle these situations. This issue is nationwide. This issue is bigger than just our school district. So we're going to need the support of folks outside of our school district to help us solve this. And so we will be, as a board, calling out to our legislators to help stiffen penalties and to find solutions with law enforcement and others on how to handle this issue. As Dr. Davis said, I'm also a parent, and it sickens me to think of what kind of conversations are going to have to happen today between parents and their students, their young folks. I just can't imagine what's going through their minds, the fear that they have, the miscommunication that's out there about what may have actually happened. But again, I want to assure our community that this is not the end, it's just the beginning of the work that we have to do. And I want to thank Dr. Davis. I know there's going to be a lot of work that will continue. We have counseling. We have to have continued conversations about how we secure our schools. And Sheriff Lott, the continued conversations and work that we'll do to make sure that our students stay safe. Thank you for everyone for bearing with us during this incident, and look forward to the work that we have ahead of us to help solve this issue. Sheriff Lott.
Before we take questions, I want to thank the media too for not putting out false information. Now, a lot of times when incidents like this happen, people get on Facebook and other social media and put false stuff out. We're the official source. So I thank y'all for following what we put out as to what the parents need to hear, and not some of this false stuff. That just contributes to the chaos when the media repeats stuff that's not true. So I appreciate what y'all have done and helped us out. Questions?
What can you tell us, or anything more about the TikTok challenge itself, and what happened and what?
It's just a TikTok challenge about making these calls to schools and see what happens. That's what it was, and I guess some people have taken that and ran with it. And I will say that if we can identify who they are, then they are going to be arrested. And it's not just a Richland County issue too. Y'all didn't see it, but FBI was also present helping us out today. So we've got the resources of the federal government's going to help us out too.
What specifically was the reaction by law enforcement? What did they do as far as gathering children or knocking on doors?
Well, once they put the plan in place, they locked themselves in the classrooms. Our SROs were immediate contact with the responding officers where we were going, so we had a coordinated response. Not everybody just rushed into one door. We had the back covered, we had the sides covered. We had teams that immediately went in and started clearing the hallways and classrooms, and we coordinated that. It was a very quick response by everybody in Richland County. Richland County was the primary agency. We had the City of Columbia there. We had the Highway Patrol that was also there. I think I even saw somebody from Fairfield County that came in to assist us also.
We saw reports that these messages were generated en masse by an automatic program. Do you have any intelligence on that?
No, I listened to it. It was sophisticated, but not sophisticated. So we'll do some more. But you go back and you look at and listen to it, you're going to respond like we responded. You know, the call was spoofed to where it came from Blythewood High School, so that's where it looked like it gave a particular room number, so we had to respond the way we did.
At what point did you guys realize it was an actual TikTok challenge and you guys were able to scale?
Our investigators we had investigators that were working it at that time. Not only did we have our people searching the school and getting the kids out, but we already had investigators on the ground that were looking at the call and stuff, and then we started seeing other places that it was happening also, and then we didn't have anyone shot. That was probably the biggest indicator. At the rooms where the person was supposed to be shot, there was no one there. But again, we're going to err on the side of caution, and that's what we did by going ahead and keeping the plan in place, getting the kids out, getting the staff out, searching the school. We've made sure that it was safe.
What do you understand of the?
Can you recall the actual verbiage of the 911 call?
Yeah, but I'm not going to go through it.
What do you understand of the parents and those affected family members about this incident?
Well, I want to thank the parents for their response too. You know, as a parent, and you hear something going on like that at your child's school, you're going to feel panic. You want to get there. You want to protect your child. Our parents did exactly what they were supposed to. We had a staging area for them to be at. They stayed calm. They stayed there. They followed what we want them to do. We had a place where they could be reunited with the kids. We gave that out. So parents did everything. What I'm asking parents to do now is you got to talk to your children, but most important, you got to listen to them. Listen to the fear that they've got. Reassure them that they're going to be safe, that this is the world we live in now. People are going to make it. False calls like this, we have to react the way we did, but understand we're there to protect them. And if it had been a real shooter today, I think we would have encountered that person very quickly.
What kind of penalties can the person or the people who did this kind of face?
I have no idea. Whatever it is, I hope they put them underneath the jail. Again, since it's not just Richland County, then it may be some federal charges can be involved in it too, which penalties there is a lot better than they are state charges.
What agency is taking the lead on the investigation?
We're leading the investigation. We'll have, again, the resources of the FBI and whoever else that we need. Again, it's just not just a Richland County issue that happened today, so it's going to be a lot of people looking at this and working on it.
Can you talk about the relationship between you and the school district to be able to coordinate, having parents find out when to come out and make sure their children?
It's great. I mean, it's great, the relationship. We've been practicing this for years. This is not just something that happened after the shooting in Texas or what happened in Florida a couple of years ago. We've been doing this for years. Getting ready for it, if something like this ever happened, we actually have drills in schools where we have students there, and most of the time it's during a holiday or during the summer, so we can see our response. We want to make those mistakes when it's not real, so we have practiced, and so our response today was a result of that practice, and we've been doing. It's great. We have a plan in place to deal with the parents, with the students, and then also to catch the bad person, whoever's there. So you've got multiple things going on at the same time. It's just not focused on catching the bad guy. You got to make sure that the students are taken care of, the parents are taken care of. So it's a big picture, and we have people that are assigned to do all these things.
Did you lock down any other schools in addition to Blythewood?
No. There's been no other threats to any of our schools in the 3 school districts in Richland County. And if they are, we've got a plan in place to how we're going to address that. We don't want to underreact. We're not going to overreact. So we have a plan in place what our response will be.
What's the reasoning for calling in the FBI? I guess what signals calling them in?
They respond. Once you hear an active shooter, they got people that's going to respond. So we don't even have to call them. Once something like that goes out, then they're automatically going to respond to see what kind of assistance that they can give us. So again, not only are we working with the school district, all law enforcement, this is something we practice and work together, and we have an automatic response. Just like you saw the City of Columbia, you saw our guys, City of Columbia guys, working together as a team going in. We've practiced that, and so we go in and do what we have to do.
This may be a question about the parents. The parents that may feel like their children may be suffering some type of stress from what happened today, do you know of any signs they should maybe come?
There are several signs, I think, of course, dealing with stress. They may be withdrawn. They may be unwilling to talk about the issues. They may be non-respondent. They may not be fully able to articulate. There are multiple signs. I think that if there's any concern, regardless whether there's a sign or not, to reach out to the school district to make sure that we are aware of those. We are aware that you have that concern, so that we can make sure that the trained professionals who can work with those students are knowledgeable of those issues and concerns and can address those while they're at school. So we want to make sure that we work in partnership with our families and our communities to ensure that our students feel safe and secure, not just physically safe, but emotionally and mentally safe while they're at school. That's a big part of our safety. And even as we have been addressing safety in our school district, we've made it a point to ensure that we are also assessing the mental well-being of our students, not just the physical safety of them as well. We will supply. We have a team, a response, a protocol for response when we have an issue or crisis or concerns at a school, and so we will deploy the necessary resources from around the school district, as in the form of counselors from other schools in our school district, as well as from our district office, who will come and provide support, not just to our students, which is very important, but also to our employees as well. You have to understand that employees went into a protective mode also. They're responsible for pulling those students into a space and staying with those students and keeping them calm while we were going through this incident. So they also are going to have a level of stress that they have to deal with as well. And so we want to make sure that we not only acknowledge that, and that we recognize that they may need some support also.
Sheriff, when you have to respond to these hoaxes, does that place a strain on an operation like what you have to do on a daily basis?
Well, again, our response was massive, but there's still other crime that goes on, so not everybody in Richland County responded. So and we're fortunate, we're large enough, we've got deputies throughout the county, so we were able to cover the rest of the county. But yeah, it puts a strain on us, but again, we'd rather be prepared. So, we're trained and ready. That's what we are, and you saw that today. So, all right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Chair.
Yes, sir. Mayor.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank you, man. Yes, sir.
Hey, Doctor.
Hey, bud.
I'm gonna show you one thing, just in case you don't see another parent today. My daughter's over there. Just in case something happens. I'm not killed. I know it's killed me today.
Listen, I tried to call my wife and she didn't answer.
Shit.
I found out this was
They got a call from their child saying that something was happening at school. But we know now that this was a TikTok challenge that filtered down to Blythewood High School. We know from reports of other schools across the state that this has happened at least 4 schools in South Carolina. Just to list off a few of those schools for you, we know that this same challenge happened at Blythewood High School, Burke High School in Charleston, Myrtle Beach Middle School. The numbers and the schools continue to come in. But for those of you who are most concerned with what is happening in Richland District 2, you can see right now this is a live picture outside of the school. Multiple law enforcement agencies responding earlier today. Everyone from the FBI to the City of Columbia to Richland County responding. And in the words of the sheriff, they did what they were supposed to do in this situation. The students are safe. Our team coverage continues now with News 19's Rachel Ripp. She is at the reunification site for some parents. Rachel, I know you've had a chance to talk with parents who obviously were concerned, upset, and that's just to scratch the surface. As a parent, I can say, of the emotion that you would feel in a situation like this. Rachel, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I'm on ISC 6. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rachel, we can hear you now.
Yes, definitely. Spoke to some parents earlier at the reunification site, and they were for sure very shaken, very, distraught and fear. was one word that came to mind for several parents that I spoke with, saying that, their students were calling them. They, had no control of the situation, and so all they could do was, drive to the high school, drive to the reunification site, and find out what information they could. Definitely a stressful time for these parents as they were waiting to learn more information, those parents that I spoke to earlier this morning.
Rachel, can you talk to us a little bit about the reunification site? Because I know at one point there was some confusion. People, parents, guardians thought that they were supposed to go to the IGA grocery store in Blythewood, and then they heard that they were supposed to be at the stadium at the high school. Where is the reunification site, and what is the process for a parent who wants to pick up their child?
Yes, so the reunification site was designated as the IGA supermarket store off of Blythewood Road, and so that's where a lot of those parents were parked. They were congregated at that parking lot trying to learn more information. There were also law enforcement on scene giving them some information. So as of now, those students will be released at that location. That is where they need to go to pick up their child. That's the latest that I've heard from law enforcement.
Rachel, we know that the school is going to have early dismissal today, so we imagine that means that school buses will be rolling out of the parking lots very soon. From where you are, what are you seeing? That's typically a congested area. It's just a 2-lane road right there across from the IGA, so it's not like it's an area where there's an opportunity for a lot of traffic to go through. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, so certainly this morning heading to the high school, that road was completely backed up. Even law enforcement had to drive along the edges to get to the high school initially. And then from the high school, once the reunification site was announced, parents started heading that direction as well. And again, a 2-lane road, so, sitting in traffic for minutes and minutes and trying to get to where they needed to be. So certainly a lot of congestion in the traffic this morning.
Rachel Ripp reporting for us live out of Blythewood. Rachel, thank you so much. But again, that breaking news headline at this hour, no injuries, no shots fired at Blythewood High School. But I do want to stress to you what the superintendent said in his part of the press conference. Talk to your kids. They may not be physically hurt, but mentally and emotionally, this was huge for them. Let's listen in to what Sheriff Leon Lott had to say.
Our people searching the school and getting the kids out, but we already had investigators on the ground that were looking at the call and stuff, and then we started seeing other places that it was happening also, and then we didn't have anyone shot. That was probably the biggest indicator. At the rooms where the person was supposed to be shot, there was no one there. But again, we're going to err on the side of caution.
Again, no one shot, no one injured at Blythewood High School. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this story for you, not only on air, but also online at WLTX.com and on our News 19 mobile app and on WLTX Plus. That's going to do it for News 19 at noon. We'll see you again today at 5.